Nevada's on the brink of a surge in evictions. Housing advocates say back in June, protections for plenty of renters expired. Now, every single day, they are seeing hundreds of families in courtrooms seeking relief. Well, many of those families in need certainly have pets. Animal rescue groups say too many families right now can't afford to keep them, like this guy right here. This is Coop. He was found abandoned in the heat.
Pulled into our subdivision and there was a dog tied to the tree. Need help, guys. Where do I bring this dog tonight? He's amazing.
Mark Chinooks and his wife Cheryl Darrow stepped in to help. Last week near Desert Inn Town Center, they found this pup tied to a tree in the heat. He was very thirsty. They tried to find the owner. No luck. The Nevada SPCA says more than ever, they are seeing families surrender their pets or even abandon them.
It looked like he had been there not too long. And the biggest thing that we noticed is that he looked healthy. He was groomed. He's like, you know, it wasn't like he was a stray. He was an actual someone's dog.
In minutes, he was licking my face, jumped in the car. He spent the night with us in the house. We wined and dined him. He was spoiled. He had his own room.
Mark and Cheryl named him Coop. It's French for cup, a la the Stanley Cup. They kept him overnight and took him to the Nevada SPCA for a hold and medical checkup.
Let's show him how sweet you are. Animal abandonment has been part of our lives here at Nevada SPCA, but we'll say this year it's at an all-time high. Wednesday of this week was one of the worst days that we've experienced. We literally had multiple people walking into our lobby and leaving their animals here.
Many families told staff they just couldn't afford their pet. Staff say there's a number of factors. Food and care costs keep soaring. Many families are being evicted or can't bring their dog to a new rental.
You don't have to turn them into a shelter. You're going to see all of those wonderful opportunities to help you with your pet.
If you have a pet and are struggling, ask for help. They have a food pantry. There are grants for financial aid. There's low cost and free vet care. For everyone else, Lori Heron says there's a shelter full of animals that you can volunteer to help.
If you have the means, if you can adopt an animal, if you can foster an animal, animals in our community need you now.
We want Coop to have a great life. You know, we want to find out where he goes and, you know, support that family. And
Coop is up for adoption right now. And because the shelter's full, the Nevada SPCA is waiving certain fees through Labor Day. If you need help or you want to help, we have links under this story to the Nevada SPCA and Chinook's nonprofit Monday's Dark. By the way, Clark County says abandoning an animal can lead to a fine or even felony charges.